and they go to sell it in 3 or 4 years. Well, as we know and we spoke about, at 3 years we're predicted to go up by 10%. So meaning that that $500,000 house is now going to be worth 500,000 is now going to be worth 550,000, right? In 3 years.
Right.
So there's another 50,000 in equity there. Now over 5 years, your interest payment that you owed on the mortgage, or that you that accumulated, would be added to what you owed. So if you started at 250, after 5 years you may owe 300,000. And I'm not looking any numbers up. This is just an example.
Yeah.
But your house now is worth 550. So if you were to pass away, you give the kids the house, they sell the house for 550, they pay off the 300, and they still walk with the rest of the money themselves.
So, wow. Yeah.
So all the equity is still theirs.
And of course, we're speaking because there is no payment for them while they're living. They're allowing that interest that would be accumulating to just sit, and then that's due. So that's that difference we're talking about.
Yeah, that's correct. And you're allowed to make the payment if you want to. You don't have to, it's your option. But here's the thing I tell everybody too. Well, if you didn't have a payment, what are you doing with the extra money? Well, you're leaving the money in your bank account. So in the end, you should either have more money in your bank. And if you don't, it's because you needed it to support your lifestyle, to support your health, or to support whatever part of living that you needed.
Yes. I hope that the audience is hearing that, and how really important and how useful a tool this really is for them, and to help them control the money and the flow of money in those retirement years. So I just wonder, I don't think we ever talked about, but Tony, I know that you have a charity that you're associated with, or that you started. I'm not clear on that.
Yeah.
But what is that? What is going on there? Not to change the subject, but I really wanted to get that question in for you today.
No problem. So we actually we did start a charity, and we call it G3, which is GULFSIDE's Greater Good. We created it here with our office, our employees. Everybody decided that we help people out every year. So we created this charity that we do here. This is our first year for it. We have raised, I believe, $2,800 already this year. And each year we are going to help one person out that is in dire need. And we found a gentleman who has to put a roof on his house. If he doesn't get the roof put on by July, his insurance is going to go up to $6,000 per year and force him to sell his house. So we are currently raising money for him. We have a couple charity events we did already. We're going to be doing them throughout the year, but our goal is to raise enough money to put a brand new roof on his house. And that's the person who we're helping this year. Once we help him, we're going to go on to another one, and then another one, and another one. And we have the whole office, all of our employees, all of our staff, everybody's excited about it. And we absolutely just love helping people out.
It feels good to help people out, doesn't it? It really does feel good. Well, you can count on me for a donation to that.
Well, thank you.
I will make sure I get and learn some more. So you've been a wonderful, wonderful guest, and I am so appreciative of your time and the knowledge that you bring. I wonder, is there any, there can't be any tax advantages to purchasing a second home per se, but on this reverse mortgage, can they use a reverse mortgage to buy like the scenario where you're talking about, like if they were living someplace else and the house was more here and they wanted to keep that other house, and so they cash out of that, they can get the money on the house up in the northern state, and then take that money down here and buy?
Absolutely, Maggie.
Can they do that?
That is a wonderful question. I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
So here's what you're saying, and this is exactly a great idea. So let's say that you have a couple who's the age of 62 years of age or older. whether they live here in Florida or they live somewhere else, they can actually do a reverse mortgage. And let's say they owe zero on that property, right? It's free and clear right now. Well, they can actually do a reverse mortgage on that property, do it as a refinance, take out the money, and let's say they're up north, they can come down here, see you, buy a house for cash, and have two houses with no mortgage payment. They would be required to pay their taxes and insurance, but they would have no mortgage payment. They could own two homes, and absolutely, that's an ideal way, of course, to live. They could be one of our Florida snowbirds and live half the year up north and half the year down here.
Now, I have another question about that because I don't
Yes.
know what's allowed. If they did something like that and they're living up north and they're living here, are they allowed to ever rent that second home to help with some of the cost of keeping it up or paying the taxes, for a short period, for
Absolutely.
the 90-day rule? Any
Yeah,
of that?
absolutely. So the current primary is the only one that you can do the reverse mortgage on. So let's say that one's up north, and then they buy a house down here with cash. That if they buy it for cash, they could rent it all year, half the year, none of the year. But what you're speaking about is if they did use a mortgage down here, and they got it on their second home, which would be a regular conventional loan, not the reverse. With that, as long as they use the home as a second, by law, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac allow you to rent the property out for up to 90 days a year, meaning you could use that money for your retirement, to pay the taxes and insurance, or anything that you wish to, as that money would be yours.
But they would have no restrictions on them at all for the house that was here if they paid cash from the house they took the reverse mortgage on in the other state.
That's correct. If they do it that way, then they could rent it out for as long as they wanted to. They could buy a duplex and rent half out and use the other half. They could do anything they wanted to. They could do a reverse mortgage up north and buy an investment property for cash here. There's a ton of ways they could do it.
And that could certainly add to the portfolio too. So
Absolutely.
Those are all really useful things.
There's a lot of things you can do with a reverse mortgage that people don't understand or know about.
Wow. That I think we've covered a lot of information. So, and I am sure the audience is feeling very grateful for this because there's so much confusion around the reverse mortgage and what it can and can't do. So, I know we're getting close where we only have a few minutes left. Is there any takeaway per se, or anything that before we wrap it up today that you want to be sure that the audience takes with them when they leave us today?
I mean, the last thing I would say is just, know who you're talking with. There's a lot of good people out there that will advise you the right way. Look for the good companies, know who you're talking to, shop around a little bit and make sure you're talking to somebody who's educated and know what's happening. At any time that anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to me. As Maggie mentioned earlier, my name's Tony Moore with GULFSIDE Mortgage Services. Our phone number here is 941-485-4222. You can get us on the internet at www.gulfsidemortgageservices.com. We've been here locally for almost 17 years in Venice, Florida, Sarasota. We've been voted the best place to get a mortgage in Venice for the last 16 years in a row. And we are here to answer anything that you possibly need any time of the day. We can help you out.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank our audience. We've been talking with Tony Moore from GULFSIDE Mortgage. And thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions or comments, please contact me, MaggieRoseMarch.com or realestatehotwired@gmail.com.
This has been Real Estate Hotwired with Maggie Rose March.